This man, I'm going to now take my time to decimate his arguments, but I'm warning him now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There was a debate between some Shamoun and one Nation of Islam adherent. They had a debate, and I want to stress certain point and analyze certain points of some Shamoun. But before then, let's listen to some of his hate speech and how he was insulting here and there. You see, normally when a Christian is hurt with the truth, they begin to insult, they begin to attack the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But let's listen to him and then come. Make sure you share the video. Let it go viral. Let some Shamoun sees what we are doing, inshallah. May Allah bless and reward you. When truth comes, falsehood perishes. For falsehood by its nature is bound to perish. We've opened a new platform. It is called Jannah 24. And it is specifically created for true Islamic teachings, mainstream Islamic teachings. And we'll be bringing you scholars that will surprise you. Don't forget to donate to share. Don't forget to support our studio project. We've reached the 14th, and alhamdulillah, we're waiting for your support and your donation so that we can be able to fill the 14th and then do is it German concrete, they call it on it. And after that, then the building will start. Don't forget to support us by donating through +23353349647 +23353349647. May Allah bless you. May Allah reward you. May Allah grant you Jannatul Firdaus. Thank you so much for supporting. Let's listen to the debate and come.
So how do you respond to these points?
Here's one thing I want to do. This man, I'm going to now take my time to decimate his arguments, but I'm warning him now, and you better listen carefully. Anytime you attack, don't be upset when I embarrass your prophet and your deity, because you went off topic, because you can address the topic. Now let's talk about deception. Since you ran because you were afraid of my arguments, I'm going to decimate your arguments one by one. In chapter 3 of your Quran, chapter 3, verse 55, your God is called Khairul Makirin, the worst, the greatest of all deceivers. He makes even Satan look honest because your God is a wicked liar and a deceiver. In chapter 8.
Now, so before we respond to some Shamoun's allegations on the in the Quran, it seems some Shamoun is not even aware of what is in his books. When we finish, then we analyze it. We will teach him, and he's going to understand, inshallah. You and I are also going to understand. Some Shamoun isn't aware of what is in his book. When you read 2 Chronicles chapter number 18, talking about deceivers, and he is calling Allah demonic and other names like that. May Allah forgive all of us, inshallah. When you read 2 Chronicles chapter number 18, verse 18 to 22, so now the Lord has put a deceiving spirit in the mouth of this prophet of yours. The Lord has decreed disaster for you. So your Bible God is also a deceitful God who casts deceitful spirit into the mouth of his prophet. So do you insult your God now? Is your God a demon now? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive you. Now, in Second Samuel, no, in First Kings chapter number 22, verse number 22, or let's start from verse 20 to 22. It says, and the Lord said, who will entice Ahab into attacking Ramoth Gilead and going to his death there? One suggested this and another suggested that. Finally, a spirit came forward, stood before the Lord and said, I will entice him. By what means? The Lord asked. I will go out and be a deceiving spirit in the mouth of all his prophets, he said. And God said, you will succeed in enticing him. Said the Lord, go and do it. So this is your God deceiving other people. Is your Bible God a demon? Now, then again in Jeremiah chapter number 4, verse number 10, it says, then I said, alas, sovereign Lord, how completely you have deceived these people and Jerusalem by saying you will have peace when the sword is at our throat. It seems like the Bible God is full of deceitfulness, yet Sam Shamoun isn't aware of this. Now, quickly, let's go to the allegations he was making from the Quran, that the Quran has said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a deceitful God. Note that all these translations that use Allah is a deceiver, Allah is this, were done by Christians. It was done by Arthur John Aubrey, and then Edward Henry Palmer, George Sale, and then John Meadows Rodwell. All these aren't Muslims, and so you don't expect them to be this truthful, to present you the correct translation of it. Now, going direct to what it says. When you say makar, makar means plan, it means scheme, it means plot, it also means sometimes it means deceit. deceive. But then Allah Azza wa Jalla has already warned us to be truthful in everything we do. Wal asr inna al-insana lafi khusr illa allazina amanu wa amilu salihati. Then he said watawasaw bil haqq watawasaw bil haqq watawasaw bis sabr. So Allah Azza wa Jalla has already commanded Muslims to be truthful in everything they do, else they have lost their soul. You understand? So Allah Azza wa Jalla isn't a deceiver. No. One of his names is Al-Haq, the truthful one. Al-Haq, the truthful one. Allah doesn't deceive. So what is the best translation for this Quran? Even though Shamoun even got the verse wrong. He said Quran 3 verse 55. Meanwhile, it is in 54. Then he says, وَمَكَرُوهُ. They planned. وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ. And Allah planned. Wallahu khairul makirin. But Allah is the best of planners. Why? Because they planned to kill Jesus. And Allah also planned to save Jesus. When you use they deceived, how do they deceive? No, they plan to kill him. They have to plan. They don't deceive. There was no plan. There was no deceive. There was a plan. So wamakaruhu, they plan. Wamakar Allahu. And then Allah also planned to save him. They planned to kill him. Allah planned to save him. Wallahu khairul makirin. And Allah is the best of planners. This is the best. All those translations that says they deceive, Allah will also deceive, wasn't translated by Muslims, and it is not even what the verse is saying, unless you don't want to understand the context of the whole show. So Shamoun need to revisit his books and then know who the best of the liars are. It is in your book. It is your God who supervised that. Let's continue.
Liar and a deceiver. In chapter 8, verses 43 to 44.
So when we talk about weak and impotent blasphemous that Shamoun is doing, let's cross-check his own belief system before we answer that one too. Now, talking about deceitful God and impotent God, as Shamoun keeps blaspheming in the name of saying things that will hurt the Muslims, let's go through his book again and then cross-check what is in his book. In Judges 1 verse number 19, and weak God, in Judges 1 verse number 19, it says, and the Lord was with Judah, and he took possession of the hill, but he could not drive out the inhabitants of the plain because they had chariot of iron. Your God was afraid. They couldn't drive out the inhabitants of the plain because they had weapons. Look at this coward God in your book. Look at this coward God. And this God was also beaten up by Jacob. Let's read that one in Genesis chapter number 32, verse number 20 to 30. So you can see from the caption, Jacob wrestled at Peniel. Who was he wrestling? He wrestled with God. And let's see, in 22, it says, the same night he arose and took his wives, his two maids, and his 11 children, and crossed the ford of Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream, and likewise everything that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and the man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and Jacob's thigh was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. Then he said, let me go, for the day is breaking. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. And he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. Then he said, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have fought or striven with God and with men and have prevailed. And so Jacob defeated your God. He defeated your God. You understand? He defeated your God. Your God was begging, let me go, please, I beg you. Just like Undertaker and John Cena. This is in your book. You understand? So talk of, I will embarrass you. I will embarrass you. I will embarrass you. No, you are not embarrassing anybody. You are not embarrassing anybody. You are rather disgracing yourself. Now, so let's go to the point where the Prophet ﷺ saw in his vision that the people he was going to fight were few. Meanwhile, there were plenty. Let's go and analyze that. Let's analyze this Quran chapter number 8, verse number 43 to 44, where Allah Azza wa Jalla says, إِذْ يُرِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي مَنَامِكَ قَلِيلًا وَلَوْ أَرَاكَهُمْ كَثِيرًا لَفَشِّلْتُمْ وَلَتَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ سَلَّمَ إِنَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. Allah made them in your dream as few. Had he made them appear as many, you would have lost heart. And Shamoun said, Allah deceived the prophet. No. In the dream, Dreams comes in different forms and in different shapes. One can see himself crying in a dream, and in reality, it is riches. The one can see himself rich in a dream, and in reality, it is poverty. One can see himself swimming in a pool, and then in reality, probably it is talking about his death. You understand? One can see himself riding the biggest car in a dream, and in reality, it is also death. So I'm not saying that is the interpretation of the dreams, but dreams comes in a different form. One, you don't justify dream to be a lie. No, it depends on how God chooses to reveal to you. You will have to interpret those dreams. If had it been someone like Joseph, like and who made him a prophet, and his main mission is to interpret dreams, he would have understood it different way. You understand? So this is not a revelation as in revealing of Quran ayah or Quran verse, but a dream the prophet had. A dream is different. You don't say it's a lie. You don't say Allah deceived. This is a cheap talk and a cheap argument. So if I dream that I'm in America, and the next day I find myself in Ghana, or if I dream that I'm in America and I find myself in UK, doesn't mean God has deceived me. No, no, boss. Some Shamoun should come again, man.
Sorry. You keep yelling, I'm going to embarrass you. You don't know who I am. Don't cut me off. Listen, chapter 4, verse 24, to show how wicked and evil, immoral your God is. He says to your prophet that married women are unlawful except those whom your right hand possesses. So according to Sunan Abu Dawud, number 2150, your wicked, immoral prophet said, when you take a woman captive who's married, you can rape her and then sell her. It doesn't matter if she's married. So if you want to talk about evil, I will really embarrass your prophet and your wicked God.
So, according to Sam Shamoun, he keeps on insulting the prophet and saying things he wants to. But we as Muslims are not brought up to insult messengers and prophet of God. Now, so let's take this one after the other. He said in Sunan Abu Dawud, hadith number 2150, the prophet said you can rape and then sell what do you call the woman your right hand possesses. Let's look at the hadith. Let's look at the hadith. So this is Sunan Abu Dawud, hadith number 2150 on your screen. It said Ibn Masud reported the apostle of Allah as saying, a woman should not rub her body directly with the body of another woman, so that she describes it to her as to her husband as if he were looking at her. You see, yet Sam Shamoun keeps on lying again. It says, let me read the Arabiya. It says, لا تباشر المرأة المرأة لتنأتها لزوجها كأنما ينظر إليها. That this is Sahih. Sam Shamoun is just a terrible liar. A terrible liar who has been lying to his people and his audience. Oh, yo, let's continue. And talk of wicked God, did this God, Sam Shamoun keeps on lamenting about. Let's read Numbers chapter number 31, verse number 13 down. It says, Moses and Elijah, the priest, and note, it was the God of the Bible that sent Moses to go to this battle. Let's read. Moses and Elijah, the priest, and all the leaders for the congregation went forth to meet outside the camp. And Moses was angry with the officers of the army, the commanders of thousands and the commanders of the hundreds who had come from the service in the war. Moses said to them, have you let all the women live? Behold, this caused the people of Israel by the counsel of Balaam to act treacherously against the Lord in the matter of Peor. God was angry because he did not kill, the soldiers did not kill all the women. And so the plague came among the congregation of the Lord. Now, therefore, kill every male among the little ones, the small children. They should kill them, and kill every woman who has known man by lying with him. How do you know that someone is a virgin or not? You have to sleep with the person before. So they raped them. But all the young girls who had not known by man by lying with him, keep alive for yourself. So they had to also sleep with those young girls, rape them to know whether they are virgins or not. And then after de-virgining them, then they take them to keep them for themselves. This is a command from your God. We won't talk. We are just presenting your own books to you. And camp outside the camp 7 days. Whoever of you has killed any person and whoever has touched any slain, purify yourselves and your captives on the third day. And on the seventh day, you shall purify every garment, every article of skin, all work of good, hair, and every article of wood. This is your God. This is your God. This is what your God is teaching. When you read verse 21, it says, "Put hair and every article of wood." This is your God. This is your God. This is what your God is teaching. When you read verse 21, it says, "And Elijah the priest said to the men of war who had gone to battle, this is the statute of the law, which the Lord has commanded Moses." Only this is a command from God. So if you want to begin to call other names to God, then you should start by calling yourself those, calling your biblical God those names, not us. To further go more, he made a reference to Quran 4 verse 24 and said Allah Azza wa Jalla is wicked and others. Those names he's been calling Allah. And he made a reference to it. He says, وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ إِلَّا مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ. And unlike the Bible God who even commands you to even kill them in Numbers 31, kill any woman who is married, kill her. Any woman who has ever had sex, kill her. The Quran says you can marry her. Ask any woman to make a choice, to be killed or to be married. Which one is be merciful over here and which one is demon over here? Now let's go to the Bible in Exodus chapter number 21. Exodus chapter number 21, verse number 7. And this is coming from the Bible God, the God of all mercy. We won't insult him, inshallah. When a man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. You can sell your daughter. If she does not please her master, if the master have sex with her and he does not enjoy her, who has designated her for himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall have no right to sell her to a foreign people, since he has dealt faithlessly with her, since he has slept with her over and over. Come on, my brother. Come on. This is not even married. This is just sleeping with her. If the Quran says you can marry, I think I'd rather go for the Quran. And every sensible woman will go for the woman you rightfully possess. When you are married to a woman, you marry. The reason why you go and pay bride price because you don't rightfully possess her. The bride price you pay for makes you the rightful possessor of that woman. So she has no right to fornicate behind you. She only has the right to please the man, cook for the man, sleep with the man, do everything the man wants, obey the man's commands, obey the man's right. This is in your books. So I wonder what Shamoun is saying. This is so funny, So the disgrace. Shamoun thinks he is disgracing the prophet and disgracing Islam, while he is the one disgracing himself.
On top of that, in chapter 4, verse 24, and chapter 5, verse 87, Surah Al-Ma'idah, according to your hadith, your prophet treated women as whores. He treated them as prostitutes. He called it zawaj al-muta. So I'm going to ask you, if a Muslim came to you at the time of your prophet and said, your mother who's not married, I want to do muta with her. I'm going to marry her for 3 days and pay her money. Would you say, oh yes, alhamdulillah, praise be Allah, brother. This is halal from Allah that you treat my mother as a whore. But that's what your prophet did.
He just made a reference to Quran chapter number 5, verse 27. And it says, according to your hadith. Is Quran a hadith? No, Shamoun, why the disgrace? Now let's read the Quran. It said the Prophet ﷺ treated women as whores. Let's read this. What verse? Quran chapter 5. Let me even begin from verse number 25 to 27 for the audience to see how clearly Shamoun keeps on lying. Qala Rabbi, inni la amliku illa nafsi wa akhi. This is even reporting the story of Moses, and people of Israel and people of Palestine. He said, my Lord, I have control only over myself and my brother. So separate between us and between the wicked people. So when you read verse number 26, it says, Qala, he said, فَإِنَّهَا مُحَرَّمَةٌ عَلَيْهِمْ أَرْبَعِينَ سَنَةً. He said, it is forbidden for them. Alayhim, it is forbidden for them arba'ina sana. Forbidden for them full stop. Then for arba'ina sana yatihuna fil ardi. They will wander aimlessly on the land for 40 years. Fala ta'asa ala al-qawm al-fasikin. Do not grieve over the deviant people. Watulu alayhim naba'a ibna Adam bil haqqi, and relate to them the story of Adam's two sons bil haqqi, in truth. So this is it. It is not about Prophet ﷺ treating women as prostitute. No. Shamoun. When will Christians ever learn? For how long will they continue to lie? For how long will they continue to mislead and deceive people? When truth comes, falsehood perishes. Then we saw some Shamoun also attacking mut'a marriage. What is mut'a? What is mut'a marriage? Now, mut'a was also, according to some of the sources, mut'a was abolished by the Prophet and his companions in their days. It was later on abolished. It was something that was acceptable back then, and later on was abolished. Now, what is mut'a and how do mut'a treat people as prostitutes? Now, talk of prostitution and other stuff like that. Look at Genesis 38, verse number 1 to 20, where Judah slept with Tamar on the roadside, and God blessed them with twins, Zerah and Perez. And this Zerah and Perez happens to be great grandfathers of Jesus Christ. So I think Mota is in your book. Zerah had to give, Judah has to give Tamar a gift of something. But in Islam, Mota, it's you sit down, you meet the families, you arrange, you marry based on a contract. Okay, let's marry for 1 year based on a contract. And this has been even abolished. Now, it is normal to be confused by topics such as this because when you have 4 wives, mut'ah, and maybe even the hijab, as all of these topics has already been twisted though. But we need to take these things one after the other. For instance, you travel to America, you're going to spend 15 years over there, and when you come back, you will not return again. The lady doesn't want to come, will not accept to come and live with you in Ghana forever. She won't accept, and you also want to come back home. Will you leave a lady like that? If you don't divorce the marriage before coming, then she can never marry. So what you do is, if you have that agenda, when you want to marry, you explain to the lady. If she agrees, then you marry based on contract. Okay, I'll marry you for 10 years, and when we divorce, I come back home. And say that was then what was done. Then later on, the Prophet ﷺ abolished this. Yet some Shamoun is saying the Prophet ﷺ endorses prostitution. Subhanallah, Subhanallah. So you can see evidently in the hadith in Sahih Muslim, hadith number volume 8, hadith number 3243, where it says, we were on an expedition with Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We had no women with us. We said, should we not have ourselves castrated? So the companions wanted to castrate themselves. They've left home for a long time. They feel like having it, you understand. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade us to do so. So he forbade them from castrating themselves. He then granted us permission that we should contract temporary marriage for stipulated period, giving her a garment. So, in other words, paying her and then marrying her temporary. You need to. That is how I said, I went to America. I don't have a wife over there, and I don't plan to stay there forever. You can marry over there. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. When you come back home, you will not go back again. So there is no any connection with you and the lady again. You break up the marriage. That's the whole entire meaning. But this was even later on abolished. Inshallah. It wasn't like Prophet ﷺ treated women like prostitutes. No, Sam Shamoun, why are you like this? Why are you like this? We've opened the platform. It is called Jannah 24. Subscribe and follow that platform. Don't forget to support us. We're building our Islamic studio. We've done the footing. That is it on the screen. Support us so that we can establish everything. May Allah bless and reward you with Jannatul Firdaus, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.